Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, who liquor shields, death, slicers, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. Let's go to the not so good USA in this case. Talk about Sears. I've done a number of videos over the last 2 or 3 years that have been quite popular about the collapse and contraction in the brick and mortar retail industry. And one of the big players in this contraction is Sears. And Sears has done a number of major announcements of store closings and layoffs. So they've been a big focal point, and things are pretty bad at Sears, and to the point where they've been having Sears bankruptcy hearings, and when you look into the details, it gets really seedy. So basically, what's going to happen, according to everything I've read, is that Sears is holding off until sometime in June or July because of bankruptcy laws to actually come out and declare bankruptcy. So this will be pretty dramatic, and I assume it's probably going to be happening. But one of the things that came up in the hearings was an exchange between Steve Mnuchin, I'm probably butchering that name, who is now the Treasury Secretary in the Trump administration, and he's having a discussion with Senator Menendez. And it gets really complicated because the Sears CEO, Eddie Lambert, has been sustaining the Sears company by investing something to the tune of $1 billion of his own money through the ESL Hedge Fund that he runs. So he's not only the Sears CEO, he's the head of a hedge fund. And what he's done has bought up a lot of the assets as collateral, including a lot of the real estate itself. And so if Sears goes down, then his hedge fund is going to clean up. So kind of a conflict of interest there. And the other thing that's interesting about this story, and this is where it gets seedy, is our new Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, was college roommates with Eddie Lambert, the Sears CEO and head of the ESL Hedge Fund. So do you think there's going to be a conflict of interest there when our new Treasury Secretary used to be college roommates with the CEO of Sears, who is going to take Sears to the cleaners? And in fact, Mnuchin earned $26 million from Lambert's hedge fund just last year. So he has a direct profit coming from this Lambert's hedge fund, the guy who's head of CEO. So theoretically, this new Treasury Secretary is going to be overseeing a Sears bankruptcy. But it gets better because, as it turns out, this ESL hedge fund by Eddie Lambert, the CEO of Sears, holds 29% of the stock of Sears, and Lambert owns near 50% of Sears stock total. And as I mentioned, he has bought up through the hedge fund, and has bought up all the Sears real estate and all the profitable parts of Sears. And so when Sears goes down, he's going to own all the good parts, and then all the rest is going to be stuck to the American taxpayer. And one way this is going to be stuck to the American taxpayer is because of the pension. And let's see, where's the details on that? The Pension Guarantee Corporation is now going to probably have to pick up the fact that the pension plan for Sears is going to be bankrupt when the company declares bankruptcy, and therefore somebody's going to be on the hook for all the liabilities. And that's a huge amount of liabilities because 200,000 people are part of the Sears pension plan, and the benefits have already been cut once. And the United States government agency, the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation, is theoretically going to have to pick up the tab, and that's where the American taxpayer comes in. So that's going to be stuck to this government agency who's going to have to cover these pensions, and they'll be on the hook for it. And they're already strained, as you would imagine, in this day and age. And like I say, one of the things that gets even seedier about this is, guess what? Our new Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, is a board member on the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation. So once again, cross-referencing these conflicts of interest. And also, interestingly enough, Mnuchin was a director at Sears for 12 years and oversaw the pension underfunding. So if it wasn't seedy enough with all these conflicts of interest, um, it turns out that our new Treasury Secretary, who's best friends with the CEO of Sears right now, was also a director at Sears for 12 years, and he's the one who made sure that the pension for Sears was underfunded and the money was directed elsewhere for a failing company. And once again, it's so underfunded, it's going to be stuck to the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, and the American taxpayer will be on the hook. So once again, the profits are privatized, and the losses are stuck to the taxpayer, and so that's how it goes. And then underfunded, and the pension plan was at last note was underfunded by $2 billion. So we're talking about some real money. So what a shitty situation. This is the kind of stuff that people should probably be more concerned about, but they're not really looking at these kind of seedy things. And one of the reasons why we might be critical of the incoming Treasury Secretary. And, boy, you want to talk about crony capitalism? Here's a great example of that. So there you have it. But in the meantime, it could be a major corporation in the United States that's been around for 100 years or more, probably 200 years, 150 years. Anyway, is probably going to go belly up. And what'll probably happen is they'll just go into bankruptcy, and then they'll restructure the company. But unfortunately, it'll get complicated if our present Treasury Secretary and his friend, who will be the CEO of Sears now and then, he will reap all the rewards of what is left of solvent Sears. And so it's hard to say. It seems like the entire company may end up going down, because I don't see, if he's got all the profitable parts, I don't see what's going to be left. But they'll be going to be closing a lot more stores. I know that. So there you have it. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too.